All my Philadelphia Eagles fans, welcome back to another episode of the J All Day NFL Show. Today, we're going to go over all the moves the Eagles have made in free agency, guys who are coming in, guys who are going out the door, and we're going to also just take a broad look at this roster and try to find some positions of need that we're going to fill in the draft. After that, guys, we're going to do a full 7-round mock draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think there's going to be some great players available for us this year. I'm really excited about it. Let's get into the video. All right, all my Philadelphia Eagles fans, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps us get into the algorithm. And if you want more Philadelphia Eagles content in the offseason and regular season, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you take a look at your screen right here, this is the Philadelphia Eagles free agency tracker. One of my favorite additions this offseason was Azeez Ojulari, the outside linebacker. Solid player on a one-year deal. I do like that. They added Kylan Granson to a one-year deal. Avery Williams, return specialist. Patrick Johnson, another outside linebacker on a one-year deal. A lot of one-year deals for the Bird Gang. They added a long snapper, Charlie Hewlett. Adoree Jackson, the cornerback, another move that I really like. And then they added another tight end, Harrison Bryant, on a one-year deal. Joshua Uche, the linebacker, coming over from the Chiefs, a deal that I absolutely loved. And then A.J. Dillon, the running back. That's a great move. A.J. Dillon's career has kind of been hampered by injuries, but when he's healthy, he's a solid back. They also traded for Kenyon Green. Straight up. He was awful last year, right? I'll show you guys the breakdown a little bit later in the video. But Ken Stoutland fixed him, a former first-round pick just in 2022, and they added Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback, in the Kenny Pickett trade. He got shipped off to the Browns. Here are all the departures. Tackle Fred Johnson goes to the Jaguars. Oren Burks, linebacker, off-ball linebacker, 2-year deal with the Bengals. Paris Campbell signs with the Cowboys. Mekhi Becton, 2-year, $20 million deal with the Chargers. Josh Sweat, I think it's 4 years, like $76 million, I think something like that. And then Milton Williams signs a monster deal. $26 million per year on a 4-year deal, over a $100 million contract. Woo! Gainwell signs with the Steelers. Bradbury got released. He still has not yet been signed. And then Isaiah Rodgers, 2-year, $15 million deal with the Vikings. And Darius Slay signs a 1-year, $10 million fully guaranteed contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, let's take a look at this roster a little bit. Bear with me as I zoom in a little bit. Quarterback, we could definitely use another body, right? I'm not sold on the backup quarterback spot for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't love it. You know, if something happens to Hurts, then we got to rely on Dorian Thompson-Robinson or Tanner McKee. Not an ideal situation. Okay, the wide receiver position, led by A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, obviously. They do have some bodies in the room, but Johnny Wilson was flat out horrendous last year. Just awful. Straight up, he was really, really bad. Jahad Dotson was not much better. He played a lot more, not a lot of production. A number 3 wide receiver definitely could help the Eagles later in the draft because Anaya Smith was supposed to be that guy. You know, we look at him, 5'10", 200, but he got hurt and he looked like shit in camp. Not great. Okay, now we move on to the running back spot. I think we're pretty solid here, led by Saquon Barkley, A.J. Dillon, and Will Shipley. I think that's a great 3-headed monster. I don't expect the Eagles to add any running backs in the draft. Maybe an undrafted free agent. That's a possibility, right? Because there's a lot of depth. So some of these guys that would have got drafted are going to get pushed out of the draft, right? So that's actually a good spot for an undrafted free agent. All right, tight end spot. Is Dallas Goedert going to get traded? No more guaranteed money left on his contract. So we'll have to see how that happens. I don't want that to happen. I think the Eagles could use him on the Super Bowl push this year, but we'll see. Grant Calcaterra was okay. Not great. The tight end spots that they added, a bunch of guys on 1-year deals. I don't love it. We'll have to see what happens to Goddard, right? All right, now offensive line. I would like to bring in a guy that could play center behind Cam Jurgens. I know Trevor Keegan does have some experience at center. And then Tyler Steen wasn't great. The PFF grades show it in 400 snaps. He was pretty awful. Straight up. I don't care if people say he looks good. I don't agree. Kenyon Green was even worse. So can Stoutland fix Steen and Kenyon Green? That remains to be seen. I think drafting a guy that could swing between tackle and the guard spots, maybe in rounds 4, or they have like 4 fifth-round picks, so maybe one of those fifth-round picks, you pick up an offensive lineman. A lot of good offensive linemen are going to be available in the 5th round this year. And then at the tackle spots, Mulata and Johnson, we definitely need another swing tackle. So in the draft at some point, I expect them to add 1, possibly 2 offensive linemen in the draft. Now we move on to the cornerback spot, led by Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Adoree Jackson enters the fold there as well. Pretty productive last year, man. Solid run defender, okay in coverage. Pretty solid though. Run defender, 85 grade. That's really impressive. And then we got Woods, Ricks, and Ringo. All these guys are going to be competing for playing time. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles added a cornerback at some spot in the draft. Okay. Safety, definitely a big need for us. We have Reed Blankenship. CJ Gardner-Johnson got shipped off to the Texans. Not looking too deep here, man. I'm not a big Sidney Brown guy. He was just okay. Didn't play a lot. Tristan McCollum played more snaps, but very unproductive. They need help at safety. Go in round 1 safety like a Nick Emanwari or Malachi Starks, depending on who falls to us. That could be a very good spot to add a safety, in my opinion. Because, like, there's good safeties later in the draft, but the couple good ones are going to be gone in the 1st round, early 2nd round, in my opinion. Then we look at the linebacker spot. Zach Bond is coming back. N'Kobe Dean will be back. He played really well last year, but he had that injury late in the season. I don't expect him to be back till, like, November-ish. That seems to be the timetable on him. Adding an off-ball linebacker, I would like that as well. Interior defensive line. Moro Ojomo played really well. So I think he could slide in, plug-and-play starter there. For sure, we definitely need some depth. Gabe Hall's there, Brian Young, Booker the fourth. We'll see. Edge defender, probably should add an edge as well. Jalix Hunt, towards the end of the year, started really finding some playing time, right, to develop. So I do like that. Uche can definitely step in there as well. Bryce Huff was pretty unproductive. I don't think Fangio is a big fan of Bryce Huff at all. We started getting inclinations of that in camp when he was like, he's not ready to play in my defense yet. And that showed because he didn't play a lot. Okay, guys, let's get into that 7-round mock draft. All right, Philadelphia Eagles fans, we're up at pick number 32 in the 1st round. All right. Let's take a look at our picks real quick. We got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then 4 5th-round pickies, guys. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm not really going to do any trades in this scenario. There's some stuff that needs to play out with Dallas Goedert if I want to trade up with one of these 5th-round picks. 5th-round picks aren't super valuable. You would probably have to package that with like a 3rd or a 4th if we want to move up in the 2nd or 3rd round, something like that. All right, guys. Walter Nolan on the board here. It seems like a no-brainer, right? Walter Nolan's a freaking beast. I love what they do at Ole Miss. He didn't really have one bad game all freaking year long, man. Run stop rate, about 12%. Pass rush win rate, over 10%. Run defense grade, 92 almost. 6'3", 305. He's big enough to be on that Fangio defensive line. I'm not going to think too hard about it. There he goes. There he goes. All right, all my Philadelphia Eagles fans, we're up 64 overall. It looks like in this mock draft, Shedeur Sanders slipped way down in the draft. He's still available at 64 overall. All right, taking a look at who's available. Kyle Kennard from South Carolina got pretty solid player, man. 10 sacks this year. Solid guy. 6'5", 254. Some of the trends: Bears, Patriots, Chiefs. All right, explosive first step, 0 wasted steps. Looks to have plus arm length for the position. Good bag of initial pass rush moves. You know, we could go D-line. Darian Porter from Iowa State, very impressive cornerback. Not a really great run defender, but man, that length, very impressive. 6'4", 200 pounds, man. This dude is an absolute monster. I'm not sure on his speed, though. That would be a concern for me. But, guys, oh, man, he's available. Ben Morrison, the cornerback from Notre Dame. This dude is an absolute monster, man. I'm a huge fan of his. Let's check out safety just to take a look. Kevin Winston from Penn State, another guy I really like. Don't look at the 2024 grades because he got hurt. He only played 2 games. So, 89.2 overall grade. This dude's a beast, man. I love Kevin Winston. I love Kevin Winston. Will he be available to us at 96? That's the question, right? But cornerback-wise, Ben Morrison will not be available at all whatsoever, right? So I'm going to slow this down. Maybe we can move up to get one of these safeties. Ransom from Ohio State is available as well. Excellent run defender. I don't like the missed tackle rate, I'm not going to lie. Kevin Winston Jr. A lot of these safeties in this draft class, for whatever reason, have a very high missed tackle rate that I don't love. But you know what? I'm drafting Ben Morrison in the second round. He had some of my favorite tape in all of my tape study this year. I love myself some Ben Morrison. He is a solid, solid defender, guys. All right, now, the Philadelphia Eagles are up at 96 overall in the third round. Very interesting spot for the Philadelphia Eagles. Tate Ratledge on the board from Georgia. Very, very solid interior offensive lineman. Very, very solid player. He's available. I do like Wyatt Millum as well. Another guy that you could really lean on. Ransom is still available as well at the safety spot. Oh, man, this is a tough area to pick in the draft, guys. Charles Grant still available, a guy I really, really like, man. 91 overall grade, 3-year starter at left tackle. Probably projects more as a guard at the NFL level, but him being able to swing at both tackle spots. I do like Wyatt Millum as well. Pretty solid player. 3-year starter at left tackle as well. A lot of value here at the offensive line spots. But, man, Ransom is on the board. We definitely really need a safety. 82 overall. He played in the slot, in the box. Didn't play good towards the end of the season. Definitely ran out of steam, it looks like. Because he played really well in the middle of the year. It was a long year. A lot of games, man. A lot of freaking games he played this year. 15 games. Only played 8 in 2023. So it definitely looks like he ran out of steam a little bit. 6'1", 210. I think there's plenty of offensive line depth for us to grab one later in the draft. Ransom, the safety, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles at 96 overall. All right, now, guys, we're going to be up at 134 overall. I think offensive line, edge are definitely positions of need. I didn't really want to go edge because I really think Jalix Hunt is going to play a lot of the time at edge. We all know Fangio really loves him, so that's my thought process behind not adding an edge. But Hassain, the edge defender from Boise State, very interesting guy, man. Chase Lunt from Connecticut, he's on the board as well. I like him because he's 3-year starter at right tackle, man. Oh, I love that. So we're drafting at 134, 161, 164, 165. Baishal Tutin's on the board. Very, very incredible combine. He blew the brakes off the 40 time, man. Very, very interesting guy there. Tight end is a spot we could potentially add here. Mitchell Evans is on the board from Notre Dame. 418 yards, 6.5% drop rate. Urasek from Georgia. I don't know. Outside the top guys, I don't love a lot of these tight ends, man. Priest Corn from Mississippi. Pretty solid guy. I like the drop rate under 4%. He's someone I maybe I target in the 5th round. But looking at 134 overall, who the best guy? Hassain is a very interesting guy. Savion Jones from LSU. I do like these big program guys. 6'6", 280. I do like that. Batty from BYU's on the board. Jarquez Hunter's on the board. All right, Eagles fans, we're taking a little more of an in-depth look at Ahmed Hassain. 6'2", 267 senior. 4'7", 40. Doesn't have the best speed in the world, so we're probably going to have to pass on him. Solid player, but the speed just really, really lacks that speed that we need on the edge. So for me, the best guys available is Chase Lunt. 4-year starter at right tackle, 86 overall grade. I love this pick. Bring in the heir apparent for Lane Johnson. I think that's a great pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now we're up at 161, 164, and 165, and then at 168. A lot of fifth-round picks. So we got to figure out where to go here. Bring in Stahl from Clemson. 50 receptions, 500 yards, 7 touchdowns. Receiving grade, 61. I don't love that. Urasek from Georgia. I just don't love these tight ends, man. Bringing Straw from Clemson. I just don't love them. I just don't love them, guys. Oh, here's a guy I'm taking right now. Kobe King. Out of Penn State. An excellent off-ball linebacker. 6'1", 248. A lot of people have him getting drafted to the Eagles. We're going to stay with that trend. I love that pick. All right. Now, we're up at 164 overall. We got our defensive tackle. We got a corner, a safety, a tackle, off-ball linebacker. Let's see if we can find somebody sexy at the edge position, guys. We need some edge here. Fidel Diggs from Syracuse, a guy that's definitely getting some interest, right? 6'5", 261. Let's see if we can find Fidel Diggs' 40 time. Now, guys, this is a prospect that you can fall in love with. 6'4", 257, solid arm length, big-ass hands, 10 3/8 inch. Holy shit balls. 40-yard dash at 4.57. That's excellent speed. This guy is going to fit great into the Fangio scheme, guys. Fidel Diggs for the Philadelphia Eagles in the 5th round, 164 overall. And guess what? We get to pick again at 165 overall, guys. Connor Colby from Iowa State, I do like. Pretty solid guard, man. 6'6", 310. Solid guy. Thomas Fadone from Nebraska. I do like this one tight end, but I don't know if it'll be a little bit of a reach. Where is he at? Oronde Gatson. Super productive at Syracuse, man. Almost 13 yards per catch, 7 tutties. Woo, baby. Didn't play a lot in 2023, but he's been super productive, man. In his 2 full seasons, over 900 yards each of the seasons. 6'5", 236. He's got the height, and he's got the frame to put on a little bit of size, right? So if he can come in 245, get a little bit bigger, a little on the smaller side, right? Maybe the Eagles potentially could trade a 2026 pick to move up again later in, the 6th round or something like that for a guy like that. But now we're just adding the best football players we can right now. Vernon Broughton from Texas, monster year, man. Monster year, 6'4", 305. Can never really have enough interior defensive linemen, so he's definitely on my radar. Tesla from Arkansas ran like a MF, dude. Straight killed the combine. 6'4", 217, super fast. Nick Nash, a guy I've been liking, 6'3", 195. Could definitely add some juice to that wide receiver room, but they did invest a lot in those guys last year. Man, Logan Brown's another guy I really love. We did add Chase Lunt, but man, Logan Brown's a guy. Very impressive, man. Right tackle. Very impressive guy. I just want to add good football players. Longer Beam from Rutgers. Solid. Tyler Shook still available. That's an interesting play as well. Tim Smith. A lot of really interesting D linemen right now in the draft, guys. Tufano from Utah. Big frame guy. 6'3", 308. But you know what? Vernon Broughton from Texas, man. 6'4", 305. I'm adding some more beef to the D-line. Faux show! All right, guys. Howie loves the trenches, so I'm going with it. We got 2 really good defensive linemen, a solid edge defender. We got a linebacker. We got a tackle. We're going heavy on defense. A lot of starters, 4 of them will be out in 2025, so we needed to upgrade for sure. Vishal Tootin, the running back, still available. That's an interesting pick as well. Adding a guard, Connor Colby's still on the board. Tyler Cooper from Minnesota. Cody Simon, Monongai still on the board. Man, Logan Brown's still available as well. Where do they think he could play at the NFL level, man? Let's take a look at Logan Brown's draft breakdown. All right, NFL fans. Logan Brown's got the arm length to stay at tackle. Good size. Solid hands, man. Man, he's a really good player, dude. And the Eagles are a little thin at the tackle position. Logan Brown could make some sense for us, guys. Definitely has the arm length to stick at tackle. Chase Lunt. We take a look. Very, very solid player as well. So here's our draft so far, guys. 2 interior defensive linemen. We got a corner. Bringing in a wide receiver might be interesting this late in the 5th round. Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech. Guy, very, very interesting guy. Could play the slot 5'10", 196. Yeah, Jalen Lane's pretty solid, man. I watched his tape recently. Pretty good player, right? I don't know if I want to go there with the 5th round. Pick Ty Felton from Maryland. He's a guy I really like. 6'2", 186. He's kind of got the frame to play inside, right? Receiving grade 80, drop rate under 10%. I like that at 8%. Almost 1,200 yards. I'm doing it. I'm bringing in another wide receiver. I think Johnny Wilson is trash, man. But it's like, man, Ty Felton makes a lot of sense. But they already used a ton of draft capital on that position last year. They're going to do that again with all these guys like Logan Brown on the board. Emory Jones from LSU. He could be a steal. Didn't play as good as he did in 2023. Regressed a little bit. But you know what? I'm going with my instincts. And I'm picking the guy that I like the best. That's Logan Brown. I'm doing it. I'm doing it, guys. They need the tackle depth. I'm doing it 100%, guys. All right, Philadelphia Eagles fans, here's another one of our mock drafts. B- overall grade from PFF. Just take these grades with a grain of salt. The Walter Nolan, Ben Morrison, ransom picks, all very solid. And we just need to start building for the future a little bit in this draft, right? We addressed a lot of positions of need on the defensive side of the ball. And for offense, you can never have enough offensive linemen. That's why I went Chase Lunt and Logan Brown at the tackle positions. Both of them can swing in the guard. Lane Johnson's got 2 years left at the most. I think going tackle here is great because if one of those guys get hurt, and Lane Johnson has had a history of injuries, right? So bringing in a tackle that can play right away, huge deal. We needed an off-ball linebacker. We got the edge defender. I like Fidel Diggs. 4'5", 40. Got great arm length, great size, big enough to set the edge. And then Vernon Broughton, D lineman in the 5th round. We got to beef up the trenches a little bit for us, guys. We added some D line. We added some edge. We added a cornerback, a safety, and 2 offensive linemen. Chase Lunt's probably going to play guard at the NFL level, and Logan Brown, I think, can stick at tackle. So it does say tackle next to his name, but Lunt is probably going to be more of a guard at the NFL level, in my opinion. All right, Eagles fans, let me know. Do you like this draft? Do you not like this draft? I would love to know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.